And the city has no money invested in or given into this program, is that correct?
This time around, no. Last time around, the last round of demolitions came through Moving Ohio Forward, which was through the state's Attorney General's office, and that was part of a bank settlement. So where major lending institutions settled for, some of the, frankly, shady lending practices of 5 to 10 years ago. And that money went through the state's Attorney General, was allocated to the land bank, but the land bank subcontracted out to City of Warren and other municipalities, townships, and villages. In that particular round of demolitions, the city had a $500,000 match obligation that they put in, and they pulled back in, I think, close to $2 million total out of it. But they had some skin in the game of that round. This one doesn't require it, so good for us and good for them that there doesn't need to be a cash match. The next round of demolition dollars, it's hard to tell where it would come from, what the parameters would be, who would be the facilitating agent, and who would be conducting the demolitions. But I know that we've worked closely with the City of Warren and every other municipality, township, and village that has demolition needs and has done demolitions, and we'd be ready for whatever scenario came next.
Last question. What is the process to determine which house in which neighborhood comes down first? It seems, from my perspective, that it tends to be spotty. You have a house in one neighborhood, a house in another. Can you go over that process and, again, how it gets determined which houses come down first in which neighborhoods?
Sure. And unfortunately, the parameters of the grant sometimes determine that. Like I would say, for example, this money we're using now, the land bank has to own the property. So basically, as they enter into the land bank, we tear them down in that order, which doesn't necessarily geographically make the most sense. However, we did have to submit 10 target areas in the City of Warren, and we used the same ones that our organization created for the Moving Ohio Forward. So priorities for Moving Ohio Forward were schools, properties closest to schools, particularly the 4K through 8 schools in the City of Warren, and also main arteries. But of course, we know we have to deal with complaints, long-term complaints. There's some political pressure sometimes to tear down certain properties in certain wards that have been getting complaints for a long time. The city's condemnation list and the city's board order demolition list acts as a guide for us as well. I can see how it seems spotty. Basically, we're out of 1,350 total vacant houses. We're trying to get the worst of the worst, but also trying to pay attention to things like schools, parks, high complaints, clusters of a lot of vacant houses. If you have 7 in a row, taking down 5 doesn't do a whole heck of a lot overall for that neighborhood if the 2 are still left standing. So we've tried to employ that strategy. The trick now is really that the way that property comes into the land bank is either tax foreclosure or donations, and we can't control the order in which that happens. So we can go out and say, these are the next 5 we want, and we can start tax foreclosure on those properties. But tax foreclosure is a long and arduous process with a lot of mailings and legal rigmarole. So this one might come in as a donation the next day because the people might just say, hey, just sign it over to them. And then the next 2 might come in 6 months through a standard tax foreclosure. Well, there could be 17 lien holders for house number 4. That means 17 mailings have to go out. Personal property ownership is pretty well protected in the United States, so taking someone's property is not easy, nor should it be. Right. So that's kind of that's the explanation there. I wish that we could just go out and tear them down as we flag them. Right. We
sliding out there.
we do the best that we can to stick to the plan. But also on our website, tnpwarren.org, the 10 target areas are listed, and we do also have a target area in Girard.
Very good. Matt, I appreciate your time. If anyone wants to reach out to you, how can they get a hold of you?
Yeah, sure. My number is 330-599-9275. And then again, those websites, tnpwarren.org, trumbullcountylandbank.org, or you can find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, whatever else.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it, Matt.
Got it.